This segment sponsored by Foster Financial. Welcome back to Wealth Wednesday with Foster Financial, and we're continuing to talk about areas in finance where people may have some misconceptions, and today we're going to talk about everyone's favorite subject, which is Social Security, and breaking that down with Caleb Doan, the Vice President of Foster Financial. Good morning, Caleb.
Good morning.
Okay, so I have to say, when people love hearing your advice, and they love these segments, and they love the Social Security, because sometimes it can be so complicated, but it's the most tangible area that people are having to deal with, especially as they are considering retirement. They're figuring out that little 60.5%, 72, whatever those numbers are. And today we're going to talk about how people overestimate Social Security. So what does that mean?
Yeah, I think that this is probably a pretty big misconception in finance that we often see, and that's people assuming that Social Security is going to cover the vast majority of my expenses in retirement. And I think, over time, probably even over the last 10 years, this misconception has, started to dwindle down a little bit, where people start realizing, hey, Social Security really isn't covering everything that I need in retirement. But a lot of times for people, it's somewhat of a black box where they're just like, I don't know how much Social Security is going to cover of my expenses in retirement. So I don't know whether to just completely discount it and assume it's not there at all, or assume that I'm going to get the full Social Security benefit and I won't have to rely on my investment accounts. And oftentimes it's certainly somewhere in the middle there. And so that's why we like to take away some of the ambiguity when we do a financial plan for somebody, and really give them a good idea of how much Social Security is going to cover, and then how much you're going to be on the hook for using your own 401k or IRA to cover the rest of that difference.
Do you feel that unsurety has more to do with the fact that people are concerned that the 401k, that the Social Security may disappear over time because those accounts may get drained, the government may impact it, or is it they don't know the exact amount because they haven't decided at what point of retirement they want to access it?
Yeah, it certainly ends up being a little bit of both, because people are looking at the different ages that they could turn on Social Security at. They're seeing the different numbers that they would get every single month. But then in the back of their mind, they're like, well, I don't even know if I can trust these numbers, because I've heard that the Social Security system is going to run out of money, and how does that work? And I think that's probably another misconception when people talk about the Social Security system running out of money. What they're meaning by that is that every single month, as we get paychecks, we're paying into the Social Security system. So our payroll taxes, a certain percentage of that is going into Social Security. Our employers are paying another certain percentage that goes into the Social Security system. And that's immediately turning around and going back out to people who are collecting Social Security right now. But the amount that's coming in from payroll taxes is not enough to cover the full amount that's going out to everyone who's collecting Social Security. It covers, let's say 75 to 80% of the amount that's going out every month. And so the difference is being made up by a Social Security trust fund. And so that's covering the other kind of 20 to 25%. That fund is what people are often referring to when they say that Social Security is going to run out of money in 10 years. It's that trust fund is going to be dwindled down, and eventually it's not going to have anything to pay out, but they're still going to have payroll taxes going into the Social Security system. So that'll still cover 75 to 80% of the monthly benefits. But then the question is, what happens at that point? Do the benefits get cut by 25%? Yeah. Do they maybe raise the age that you can turn on Social Security? Do they increase payroll taxes to try to cover it? Maybe they do a combination of all of those things. But in all likelihood, Social Security is still going to be there to some extent. It's just going to look a little different. Maybe benefits are a little lower or something like that.
So I'm wondering, as you're saying that, I'm kind of like, I'm wondering what the reason is. Is it because less people are working in the real traditional workforce? Maybe there's more entrepreneurs or people that have all these side hustle gigs that they're not really pouring into the proper system in the same way. Because I'm trying to think, self-employment taxes, do you pay Social Security through that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. For self-employment, you have to pay both sides of the payroll taxes. So you are the employer and the employee. So yeah, you're still paying into it. I mean, one of the biggest reasons is just a change in population growth that we've had since Social Security was implemented.
Okay.
And so back then people were having more kids than what they are now, and so there's fewer people paying in. And of course, we've got a lot of the baby boomers who are now collecting on Social Security, and so they're pulling money out of the system. A lot of the people who are working are paying in, but it's not enough to cover everyone that's taking money out.
Right.
And so, and of course, anytime the government runs something, it might not be quite as efficient as what other things should be. So there's a lot of kind of little pieces of Social Security where people can pull out of the Social Security system maybe without having put into the Social Security system for a number of years. And so there are different ways that have kind of eaten into that trust fund over the years. But generally speaking, we want to try to get as accurate as possible when we're estimating how much somebody is going to be able to rely on Social Security in retirement. And so that's where the financial plan comes in, where we say, look, to maintain your lifestyle, you need $100,000 a year in retirement for, your family. Social Security, if you turn it on at this age, we're estimating that it's going to give you, $40,000 a year or something like that. Maybe we apply a little bit of a discount to it as well, just in case that trust fund continues going the way that it does. And then we say, all right, the remainder needs to be covered through your 401k, and is the 401k sufficient to be able to cover that amount? And by taking away some of that ambiguity, it gives people a lot more confidence to actually be able to retire when they're planning on retiring and know how much they need to have saved.
Wow. That's deep. I mean, because it really does impact us all. I mean, more so if people are afraid that Social Security could run out in 10 years, of course, that would be more, Gen X?
Yeah, or a lot
Gen
of Gen X, or
baby
even
boomers?
or some of even the millennials will be relatively close, or maybe considering like early retirement by then. We're getting close to thinking about retirement, so it's certainly going to impact a lot of savers, and it's important to know what Social Security is going to be.
Oh my goodness, crazy! I can go on a rabbit hole. It's like we will never retire. We're going to be working. Caleb, it's going to be 30 years, and we're going to be like, so, Wealth Wednesday.
Not if you start now. If you start now, you'll be
Get a
good.
financial plan with Caleb at Foster Financial, so we can all peacefully retire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Caleb.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you would like more information about Foster Financial to start getting that retirement plan underway, it's so important to reach out, go in for a complimentary consultation, and let them help you. We'll have their website and their phone number listed below, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Foster Financial.